And we're live.
Welcome to Violent Wrestling Podcast. It's Tuesday. It's a little after 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 Eastern. Um, of course, I'm Mox, and as always, my co-host Ambrose Alley. How are you?
Oh, I'm here.
And the third spot is missing at the moment. Hopefully, he will be dragging up the rear here pretty shortly. He might have gotten called into work. We never know with him. He's like the missing link from the early WWF days. Metal Matt's not with us at the moment, but we do have. Oh, and he's going to be in rare form based on some football news. Mr. Ohio himself, Adam Rice.
I'm going to be the most insufferable son of a bitch on the planet tonight and every night, all the way through
More
the
than,
Browns Super
I
Bowl
mean,
victory.
you kind of already are, but
I mean, I
more than
already know I'm
usual.
an insufferable son of a bitch, but just more. I'm going to put Cowboys fans to shame.
But if you're looking at this, you're like, well, Matt's not there, but there's four icons. Since all of a sudden the Raw Women's SmackDown or Raw Women's Championship has just completely gone south, we decided to have a guest, like go north for a guest, and we're joined by a dear friend of ours and a truly great guy and very knowledgeable on the wrestling. Saskatchewan spinning nerve hold, which we lovingly call five because that's number five on Jericho's list of moves. The one, the only five.
Good day, everyone. Glad to be here.
You betcha.
You betcha.
You betcha.
So, how's everybody's week? But
Yesterday,
everybody besides Adam.
yesterday started very frustrated. It was a Monday at work, and absolutely nothing worked. My office phone was dead. My computer was dead. I had no connectivity. So pretty much the first 3 hours of my day were a complete write off and a waste of time. But everything's gotten much better since then.
AA.
Oh, just getting ready for this blizzard that's supposed to hit.
Did you buy all the bread and water?
Oh, we've got the water, we've got the milk, we've got the bread, got the
She
chocolate.
kind of she kind of said that like the Facts of Life theme.
Dating yourself with
So,
that reference a bit.
sir, sir.
Just saying.
Um, I guess we're gonna dive right into FastLane reactions. I don't want to because after the NFL news today for a certain team that plays a certain replacement team that plays in a certain city is
Could
why,
say the same thing about the Texans.
sir,
Sir,
that
don't go there
sir,
if you don't want to go there.
sir, there's a difference in the Texans and the Oilers versus the Browns and the Browns. Like, sir,
Still an expansion team.
you shut your mouth. So let's.
But
But
Adam Silk, real
I'm
thing.
just gonna guess that now all of a sudden everything that happened at Fastlane and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown is going to be all rose-colored glasses and everything's perfect and right in the world, even then when we know it's not. So anyway,
Well,
let's
no.
go.
I'll answer that real briefly. Yes, I do have rose-colored glasses on, but you know the
You
most.
you still recognize shit when you see shit.
No, yeah. I still recognize shit when I see shit. I'm a Browns fan. Let's not forget that.
Like literally.
I've been the most tinted lenses doesn't shine up the turd that is the women's matches, pretty much only totaling up to 10 minutes at Fastlane. It doesn't shine the turd that is bound to be McMahon and Miz. It doesn't do that. I'm excited and happy right now for reasons outside of wrestling. Uh, and that does, your emotions tend to cloud things no matter what your emotions are. But, you know, a turd is still a turd no matter how you look at it.
So and I accidentally exited out, but uh, did anybody watch the pre-show? I don't watch pre-shows, but I know what happened. But if anybody else actually saw what happened and want to take the lead on the pre-show match or the pre-show period, because a lot of stuff happened in the pre-show.
Yeah, this is actually from what I didn't watch the pre-show. Didn't really watch much of the pay-per-view because I just wasn't excited at all. Um, this I was hearing people pretty much say this was the best pre-show they've ever done. Low bar,
What?
but
True. They took what was supposed to be the pre-show match was Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Was supposed to be the only kickoff show match, and they started doing like swerve after swerve, and they put for the main show put Andrade and Ray in a fatal four way with help me guys because I'm trying to
Samoa
for
Joe and R-Truth.
for the U.S. title.
And
And
honestly, that match was probably the best match on the card. Like it was a banging match. Like it was great. You had Andrade showing off that he was like the future of the
they
business
both
for the most part. He
yeah
looked great. You got Ray and Truth, who somehow tapped into the fountain of youth and looked just as good as they did 15 years ago. And then you have Joe holding the retaining and hanging on to the U.S. title. Uh, I thought it was, other than the WWE title match, this was the best match on the entire card.
agreed. But they ended up switching since they made that a fatal four way for the main show. They ended up switching the Usos versus oh shoot um,
Miz
the
and Shane.
SmackDown tag match. Yeah,
No, they put
Usos, Miz
no,
and
that was on
Shane.
the main.
it was Rusev and
No,
Shinsuke against the New Day.
the New Day. Yes, on the
Okay, yeah,
pre-show.
that's right.
Yeah. See, guys like you can do drugs, you can drink your alcohol, but when you've been a lifelong Browns fan and you start all of a sudden seeing a glimmer of hope, like that's the high that Rice is experiencing right now. So forgive him. But yeah, on the pre-show they put the Shinsuke Rusev versus the New Day match. I again didn't see it, but they did flip those two.
Are
Okay
you
then.
just trying to announce your presence, Matt, or
I see we already started, which was news to me.
We start at 9 o'clock, and it's 9:20, sir.
No, you started way earlier.
No, we literally started after 9. We were just a few minutes in. We're still on the pre-show of FastLane.
Well, sorry I was late. I was eating dinner and lost track of the time.
Did you have nachos or chips and dip? Be honest.
Yes.
So, Metal Matt's
excellent?
here.
5.
Good day, sir. How are you doing?
Doing well.
So back to New Day and all that.
Yeah, and
It's a new day. Yes, it is.
um, a lot of other announcements will, I guess, get into like a lot of things happen on the pre-show. We'll get into as we run down the main card of well, that wasn't scheduled to be this, and this wasn't scheduled to be that. Um, but yeah, the only match on the pre-show was Usos. Or dang it, Adam, you got me doing it. The New Day versus Shinsuke Rusev.
And the New Day.
So I guess let's move on to the main card, which opens with the Usos and Shane,
And the
Miz,
Miz.
the Miz, Metal Matt's favorite wrestler of all time.
God.
Because he's the Miz and he's awesome.
Yeah, he's the
And
mascot
Matt,
that the Browns deserve.
Not after tonight.
oh wow, oh wow.
I'm going to jump in on to the defense of the Miz. I've always kind of liked the guy. I think he puts in the work. He does. He's a very serviceable, great guy on the mic, and he's serviceable in the ring. That being said, that match was just kind of there for me. It was there to lead into the breakup of the tag team.
Yeah, it served its purpose as an opening match. Like it's the Usos. You get your Shane spots. You get the breakup at the end. Like to where the opening match is supposed to get the crowd going, and this did that.
I just want Shane to not look like
Wrestle ever again?
that, and look like a bloated, out of shape mess at the end of every match. He looks like he retains water like nobody's business. And when he does any sort of extracurricular activity, like, walk, um, he's blown up. And I get
he
he's
looks
up.
like he's like doing MMA or whatever or boxing and cutting weight the opposite way.
He looks
Like
like
because
an
what?
extra for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh damn, dog, damn, dude.
And I'm talking about one of the blimps.
I got the reference.
For someone who claims to be an athlete, and I'm not, let me just put it like this: there's a difference between being athletic and an athlete. Those are two different things. Shane is athletic, but if you ask him to do anything for more than 5 minutes, he's like
And
every
that's
other.
pushing it.
Right. He looks like every other middle-aged father.
He isn't 50.
He's 50.
Yeah.
He's every bit of his early 50s.
So all due respect to still being able to jump off of tall buildings and but seriously like doing backflips like all due respect because he's got 10 years on me and last time I tried doing a backflip was off the bar in the house and that didn't go so well.
I'm
Do not
not
try this at
knocking.
home.
I mean, I'm not knocking the game here. I'm just. He's a human crash test dummy, and that's all he was when in the 90s. The only difference between Shane now and Shane then is Shane was 20 years younger
The gray hair.
in the gray hair. That's about the difference. It's still the same routine. I mean, his best match ever is still that match at King of the Ring against Angle. And the only reason why that's his best match is because he literally almost had to die.
Well, and Angle carried him for that whole match. At the
Right.
time,
Yeah,
Kurt Angle was arguably the best wrestler in the world.
I mean, that Kurt carried him and then threw him through that glass.
Yeah, exactly.
But
well,
and all
tried the
Shane,
first time. Shane almost died by breaking his neck, and then they said, and I don't. There's different reports and stories of, and Shane was like, "No, do it again. I'm going through that glass. Do it again."
well, and the other story is Vince told him not to through the referee.
Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying.
and
And Shane
Vince
overrode that and said, "No, I'm going through that glass. Put me
and
through that
Shane
glass."
in an interview said, had I been in my right mind, I never would have done that because my father would have come out and murdered me. In his defense, he almost did get murdered. But yeah, this whole thing with Miz and this was all set up for what happened afterward.
Yep.
You mean Shane turning face?
I don't know how
I'm
attacking
dead
another
serious.
man's I don't know how attacking another man's father makes you a face.
That wasn't
I
his
mean, if it's the
dad. That was
Miz's
Bruce
father.
Pritchard in costume. Come on now.
They look the same.
I mean, The Miz literally said a few weeks prior that he used Shane McMahon. I fail to see how this is a heel turn.
Because it's a McMahon and it's always a heel turn. Always. Always. These people are incapable of being baby faces.
I mean, and he did it in Miz's own hometown. Like it was the worst thing ever to happen to Cleveland since the last Browns game.
He's salty that we started without him. He is salty. There's gonna be a Matt Salty YouTube channel coming up soon.
Him and
And
Lana
very
should do a
live.
show together.
And Barry
That's what
Light
I'm.
telling Metal Matt it's time to embrace the Miz.
Do it.
Embrace the
Wait,
Miz.
what?
Well,
Just admit the Miz is one of the best things that ever happened in professional wrestling.
oh, you have two options.
I'm sorry, Adam. I'm afraid I can't do that.
You sounded like the computer from 2001 Space Odyssey.
That's what he was
that's what I
going
was
for.
going for.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I knew where you were going.
Okay, so Matt, Miz is one of the best, or Nick Patrick is a great referee. Which one?
Can we just agree that both of them suck?
I do know this.
No.
I do know this. A lot of the boys can't stand Nick Patrick.
Can you blame them?
Just don't jump in the ring during one of his matches. He'll kick the shit out of you.
Oh, damn, dude.
Did everyone get that reference?
I did.
Okay, we're already off track.
Yeah.
What happened?
What
We
is
were
it?
never on track.
There are no tracks to be had. Five. What do you think of the match itself, and besides the obvious where this was going?
Like the match itself, like you said, it was a great opener. You got the Usos, who, I mean, they never look bad in the ring. They're great. Miz can hold his own. Shane looks like a heart attack waiting to happen, but he gets in his spots. And I actually kind of liked the little mid-air collision between whichever Uso and Shane there, with the coast to coast and the Uso splash. So it had some cool spots, but yeah, it was
That
all
spot
about.
was crazy. Where they're on opposite. That spot was nuts.
That was the best spot of that match for sure, and it looked brutal. And I'll give props to Shane for taking that shot, because I can't imagine that didn't hurt. But otherwise, yeah, it was all to lead to the breakup that anybody could see a mile away. My mother-in-law was over watching a little bit, and as the end is going on, I was just kind of giving her the warning. It's like, okay. And Shane's about to turn on him and break up the tag team. And she's like, well, did you watch this already? I'm like, no, I just have watched a lot of wrestling in my life. So everybody knew it was coming. And I mean, they did it all right. So it was what it was.
What'd your kiddos think of it?
Uh, Gavin liked it. Gabe actually wasn't even in the room at the time, so Gavin
Okay.
thought it was cool. He always likes when somebody hits somebody else in the head. Tag teams break up. He's always a fan.
Um, I'll save that joke for another time because I'm sure I could use it. Morris thought Morris loves the Usos. Um, can't stand. I almost called him Vince, but Shane, and um, thought it was a decent match, and then just booed the crap out of Shane for.
I just want to point out that I know you almost called Shane Vince, but are we all noticing Shane is turning into Vince?
I'm
Slowly
just
but
waiting
surely.
for. I'm just waiting for when we start calling Shane Vince the Third, like because Vince McMahon's not a junior, but everybody calls him Vince Junior. I'm just waiting for Shane to be called Vince the Third.
He'll get his name changed, I promise you.
Junior, I like Indiana. We named the dog Indiana.
Oh
Oh
god, he's already
Lord.
quoting.
The AA Rice. Either one of you guys have the chat up?
I do.
Okay.
That's why I said Buried Alive is telling Metal Matt to embrace the Miz.
Oh, I missed that part.
I'm sorry, Buried Alive. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Technically, his name's underscore now since he had his same name but had to switch it up a little bit.
So what was next?
Oh Lord.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
No. I refuse.
Say it.
Say my name. Say my name.
Mox.
That's what she said.
Say it.
Next, Odell Beckham Jr. went to the Browns.
I'll take that as an acceptable substitute, but no, it's your show. You need to say what happens next.
Sir, I already told you I accidentally exited it out, but um, I can, and all of a sudden my mind, for a couple reasons, I'll figure you guys know. Um, what did happen next?
You're gonna make
So
me look
how's
it
the
up.
weather?
Well, let's see.
It
Um,
was.
Besides the upcoming blizzard and my upcoming tornadoes, like
It was
The
Oscar and
next,
tornado,
Mandy.
stupid phone.
Asuka defended the Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Championship against Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
okay, I think I slept through this one.
You didn't miss much.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
this is
it was a really forgettable match.
And I would
that
gather this is probably Asuka's worst match on the main roster.
at the
I
same
don't know
time
if
can
I'd
you
say it's a worse match, but it wasn't great. Would have been better with the Iconics in it, but
and I agree with kind of what you're saying that this was I'm just going to use the term poor showing from Asuka, and yeah, you can put because or people will put well it was Mandy Rose, but this was actually a good showing by Mandy Rose. But it also ties into the fact that Mandy Rose isn't quite
Is she ready?
re- yeah,
no.
no. I was gonna say like that you can tell but in the same match you have somebody's if arguably if you want like one of their worst performances versus somebody's best performance and the match sucked. Like who do you fault there. That this was just a. This should have been a squash, to be honest with you. Like a. But this also, just like the first match, is leading up to something else.
Yeah,
Um,
but if you like Mandy Rose as a company,
Corey
why
Graves
are,
is secretly buying more and more stock in WWE, where he becomes majority shareholder.
so he can push Mandy Rose
Yes.
or Carmella? Um,
Mella's money.
Yes, indeed.
thank God nobody reacted to that. Um, if you're interested as a company in really pushing Mandy Rose, you're kind of putting her in death spots. Because I'm not, it's not clicking. It's not clicking with the audience. It's damn sure not clicking with me. Uh, I think Sonya is the one you need to be pushing here.
And that leads to like this match happened for other reasons, and hopefully, shout out to all the Sonya Deville fans that we get an Oscar Sonya uh, in some shape, form, fashion. Sonya's challenging for the SmackDown Championship soon, or a championship. And either one of them is.
Because they basically teased the breakup angle here. Deville was looking for a weapon. Mandy got tripped up. Oscar took advantage. Bam. There's your finish, kind of.
To be specific, um, Sonya flipped up the ring apron and it went into the ring looking for a weapon, and Asuka, a whole scenario happened, and Mandy tripped over the ring apron that Sonya threw up, trying to find a weapon, ended up getting a kendo stick, couldn't use it. Mandy trips and gets
A boot to the face.
yeah, I was trying to.
Damn, Mandy, why you tripping?
Oh. Oh. By the way, Mandy ate the bottom of her shoe. Did everyone see the slow mo on that?
Yeah,
Pretty
it
impressive.
looked pretty stiff.
Whoa.
I mean,
That's what she said.
God damn
That's why I said whoa, because I knew Matt was coming with it. That's why I just said whoa.
it. But do you think we're heading into Mania straight up Oscar versus Sonya, or are we going to get a 3-way?
Probably a three-way. Because we gotta get everybody on the card,
Oh, God.
even if it doesn't make any sense. And we even
So,
see that after this match. Oh, God dang, pal. We gotta stretch this pay-per-view out to 4 hours. How the hell it? Put the bar in there.
I just.
would you be so salty about it, Lana's new YouTube partner, if it was, say, the Iconics being put into the match?
If they win the title, yes.
Wow, way to have that qualifier.
What do you think, Five?
I mean, but to be fair, I mean the Iconics. I mean, let's face it. Boss and Hug are scared of the Iconics. Why else have they not showed up to SmackDown?
Sir.
Traffic,
Sir.
weather. Give
They're
me a
still.
break.
Did you just imply they're stealing Eva Marie's gimmick? Sir. Sir.
First of all,
Bef-
queens don't come to the peasants. Second, do something interesting on SmackDown, and maybe the women's tag team champions will come pay them a visit.
and we all give Matt a hard time about this, but even Matt is on record as saying, let him win a match first. Like,
Yeah. But I mean, Adam said, the queens don't come to the peasants. Why would the Iconics go to Raw? I mean, really.
Your delusions, sir, make me so happy.
just like yours and what the Browns are going to do this season, but
Sir,
that's
those are
neither here
not
nor there.
delusions. Those are stone cold facts.
Clive, what'd you think? Just
Of the Oscar Mandy match, it first of all, it was nice to see that Oscar actually still works for the company. Uh, you'd think
she work here? She work here?
apparently you think you'd want your champions visible more than she's been. I understand why they haven't been pushing her, but it's not a good reason in my view. She's one of the most talented women on the roster. Uh, Mandy should never have been in that spot. Uh, the match was what it was. If this leads to Sonya Deville getting a bigger push and possibly a title match, I'm personally all for it. I think Sonya has a much, much brighter future than Mandy does. So we'll kind of see where it goes, I guess.
And this kind of leads, because in between these matches and like this is, I think the SmackDown Women's Championship is definitely going to be a multi-person match. It might be the ladder match, or you always have to have these certain matches at WrestleMania. Excuse me, but yeah, I don't. I'd like to see Sonya versus Asuka 1-on-1 at Mania. I don't think that's what we're getting, but I do think Sonya is in the conversation to be in whatever messery they give us as a stipulation match.
And I will say, the shakeups coming up after Mania. We don't know if Sonya is in the plan for either title coming out of Mania. Whether she loses or wins or possibly goes to Raw to maybe do something with the eventual champion there. So I think Sonya is in the catbird seat here heading into Mania.
And the Icons cut a promo on TV tonight.
Yes, they
Well, at least they
did.
knew. At least they found their way to the building.
That's
They always
very
do that.
delight.
Sure. I think you mean Boston Hug.
I mean,
Because
right
they
next to
no-showed SmackDown yet again tonight.
Champs
The
have to do
Iconics
champs
are
things.
waiting. They set up the
right
challenge.
next
Boston Hug said that they would take on anyone, but where are they on SmackDown? Exactly. Nowhere.
right next to
But you know
catering is
what?
the
Boston Hug
interview
can't run forever.
stadium.
Sooner or later, they're going to have to go up against the Iconics, and they are going to lose.
He is on a roll, folks. Don't try to stop him.
Did I'm not even sure. I know. Unfortunately, I know two of your professional sports teams you root for. Did something happen with those two teams? You're a Patriots and a Lakers fan, and Gaga Maggot, but did something happen with those teams that made you all rice est all of a sudden? Like you're all like, you know, this is happening, so that
Oh,
sorry,
Lord. You
call back.
tried. You
I
tried.
tried.
What happened after the Oscar match?
Bar and Kofi Kingston because they had a backstage segment with Vince saying that Vince said that tonight is going to be a triple threat match. Kofi gets to the ring now, and it ended up being like a
Yeah.
handicap match versus the Bar out of nowhere. Because Vince said, "You only heard what you wanted to hear. I said a triple threat match. I said nothing about you being in that spot."
This is going to go on all
Ju-
night, folks.
and surprisingly enough, like Matt is straight edge, like never drank, smoked, anything. But if Matt would have been a smoker of a couple of years, like he would literally, because he does it well enough just like that, but if he had that little graspy voice of being a smoker for, like I say, even a couple of years, like he's got Vince pretty much down.
Yeah.
But yeah, we go to this Kofi coming out thinking he's gonna be in the WWE Triple Threat match, and referee has to get with the announcer, and they're pointing back and forth and asking questions, and apparently it's not for the WWE Championship. It's not even really a triple threat match. It's a handicap match. The Bar versus Kofi, and to summarize my feelings, the crowd chanted it best about halfway through. This is boring. This is boring.
It, all this also ties into um, what happened tonight on SmackDown. But I will say the story they are telling a very different story with Kofi than they told with Brian, and then they told with Becky currently. While
Right.
I
There's in defense, there's some similarities, but they're completely different.
and I think tonight was the bow that kind of the story they told tonight on SmackDown with Kofi kind of drives home that nail. But when we're talking just strictly about the pay per view, I hated every minute of this. It's Vince at his worst. Kofi looks like an idiot. The bar,
No,
or
yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. Um, Kofi didn't look like an idiot. Kofi looked like a passionate, like, oh, you know, to to go back to what was it, 29 or 30? Sorry, how could you forget?
right,
Or how could I forget that? Oh, you're gonna stake the odds against me. Well,
I'll
like there,
beat him.
yeah, like I can do this, and he gave a valiant effort, and but I agree with the crowd towards like 3 or 4 minutes in the match that it just got like, oh, this isn't a I'll beat them and still be at the triple threat match that quote unquote Vince said earlier, like that this was just
And the
uh,
logic, and I'm not going to knock the logic here. Kofi should lose in a handicap match against one of the best tag teams in the company without the new
true,
day without the new day at ringside.
true,
That makes logical sense. So I'm not going to hate the logic. I just hate some of the presentation.
yeah,
So you said
the
that the
optic.
bar was the best tag team in WWE?
One of the best.
Ah, all right.
Were you about to
Yes,
throw
they
up
aren't
some
the
iconic
best
music or something?
He was.
because they're not the best because they certainly aren't iconic.
Hey, did you catch any of this on YouTube after the fact?
Nope.
Okay, so that's just okay then. Just a real quick um based on on what you read and what we've talked about, like your opinion on what they're doing or what they did here with the Kofi
It's
storyline.
it's one of the reasons I quit watching WWE.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I've gotten really jaded with them.
Hey,
No,
Jaden.
no. I'm
Oh,
stopping it
good
now.
lord. Yes. Somebody mute him. Five. Your overall thoughts of this
This.
match, the whole the and I love the McMahon family locker room that literally says McMahon family. And a New Day's like, no, you're going in there right now. He's been making me wait for an hour. And then when they get in there, it's literally just Vince, and Vince is like, "You've been making me wait for an hour." Like that part was at least comical to a degree. Like who's been making who wait for? But
Yeah, no, I'll agree that the backstage part of it was entertaining, and everyone was excited to see Kofi in the WWE title match, right? And then they pull the bait and switch on you, and I kind of in the same boat as Adam on that. I like the storyline progression, or at least the attempt at the storyline progression, but the match itself was uh, it didn't need to be there at all. You could have done something better than that, I think. Uh, and I agree with Adam on the, you're losing to a well established multi time champion tag team. The logic is sound. I just was not a fan of that match at all.
and this is literally off the top of my head. You know what may have worked better in the what happened backstage versus what we saw in the ring is that this is a triple threat, and Kofi comes out first, and then don't do any other announcing or anything. Just have the bar come out if because apparently one of the agendas was getting the bar more heat. If they're the bar's the bar in my opinion. Like I love Cesaro. Sheamus has a purpose. Um and
I love Cesaro. Sheamus serves a role.
well that's just how I view him.
You know what?
And
You're not wrong. I'm just giving you a hard time.
you are on cloud nine right now, and I think everybody can forgive that. But like have it. Don't just. There's different, like very minute, very small details that would have made this work a little better than just Cesaro and Sheamus being in a handicap match against Kofi. Like, oh, I didn't say the triple threat was going to be for the WWE Championship. I just said there's a triple threat match and it's up next. Oh, by the way, it's against Cesaro and Sheamus.
That's right, pal. You only heard what you wanted to hear.
Oh, good grief.
Okay, since he did it, I have to ask. Five, have you heard his honky tonk man?
You know
Oh,
what?
God.
I can't say that I have.
Matt, you might as well.
Get it out of the way.
It's not a Hall of Fame. I got good dinner, good show, good ride, good limousine, and a $25 plaque I left in the hotel room. And Sean, if you want Vince's boy toy, you be gone and you know it. Everybody knows it. Oh, poor me. I lost my smile. Oh, my back. Oh, get out of here with that.
Is it not almost spot on?
It's pretty darn good.
Okay, after the handicap match, we had the Raw Tag Team Title match, correct?
Yes.
So that's the Revival defending against Black and Ricochet, and now in my head I probably should have reversed those names. And
I was going to say.
Gable and Rude. This was a pretty good match.
I enjoyed it.
Started out
I
slow a
liked it.
little bit.
The wrong team won, but I enjoyed it.
And that I agree with. going into this, they put the revival. I mean, they put Ricochet and Aleister Black over Big leading into the pay-per-view. And now they lose. They didn't get the win because they kind of took themselves out of it for the revival to win. The team you just made look like chumps going into the pay-per-view. Whereas the first match had logic to its booking and everything. Not the first match, the previous match. I don't see the logic in having the revival walk out here.
Like at all, or as champs? Like, there's a difference. Like, you're not leaving the fucking arena. Like,
No,
you're not
no,
walking out.
no. I'm saying walking out as champs. Am I off base?
No, I
No,
agree.
no,
I agree with you too. Like, I honestly thought going in that Alistair and Ricochet were coming out of that as the champs. It was just the way that the whole storyline leading in was going. I can't say necessarily that I'm sad seeing the revival with the belts, because I'm kind of a fan of the team. They're a throwback to old school wrestling, and I appreciate that. And honestly, I don't know if it just doesn't come across on TV, but I saw the revival and Rooted Gable at a house show not too long ago, and they absolutely tore the house down. Like, it was the match of the night. It wasn't even nobody else even came close. But when you see them on TV, it just doesn't translate. So, but yeah, I agree with you, Adam. The booking on this just seemed a little off, and it's strange to me.
yeah. The edging of how the match progressed was just.
And Buried
If you
Alive
took,
has a question.
we have answers.
Are we sure Metal Matt is straight edge?
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't think he believes you, sir.
Well, believe it. It's true. Oh, it's true. It's true.
It's damn true.
We'll get to that later. Uh,
But this, I, I know word good.
we know.
Shh, you hush your mouth, sir. The match was okay itself, but I just don't. I love the spot of since the revival, no flips, just fist, and start going to the top rope like
I'm up here. What do
um
I do?
yeah. Everybody else is doing it, and then you do it. And speaking of, this is kind of like a callback to the straight edge. Well, everybody else was doing it, but like, well, I'm up here, and I need to call mom to come pick me up, like, because I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do here.
Well, for a team that claims to, be spiritual successors to the Midnight Express, I don't see why he didn't drop a leg like Bobby Eaton.
True. Exact. Yep.
I mean, once again, if we're going to play the role, let's play the role. The Rock and Roll and the Midnights were jumping around just as much as any lucha, okay? Well, maybe not as any lucha, but you get my drift here. They weren't
Uh,
just Stone Cold mat wrestlers.
especially back then, like they were like comparing to them to to today. Like that's not a fair comparison, but back then, and seeing them live and watching them on my little black and white TV, like yeah, they weren't. They did flippy shit.
Relative to their era, but like you said, but yeah, it's like, so I mean, No flips, just fists were a Southern throwback. You don't look lost when you get up to the top rope. I know it's not their gimmick, but it's their gimmick. But I'm just making a point.
And a good
And
point.
right now, you give like 0 Fs about
Oh, good God!
wrestling. You're
I'm looking for another 8-ball. I'm jacked. Yeah, just went there.
I was gonna like Anyway, um, five. What'd you think about this?
Like I said, I was a little confused with the booking on it.
Oh,
It was an entertaining match. It was, it was what it was. It's something. It filled the space. It was entertaining, but it's not anything that sticks out in your memory, and it's not going to be on anybody's list of must-see matches.
right. Which and let me just pose this real quick. Given the same teams, but in a different scenario, it could definitely be a match that people talked about later. People remembered. This just wasn't it. This
It
it
was
was a good
agent.
match.
It just felt put together weird.
I mean, the
Yeah,
revival's booking as of late hasn't helped either.
Shut
I mean,
up,
it was a
Todd.
good match. But I don't know. Something about it just kind of got off.
It kind of seemed like, and hear me out here, because you know how live wrestling works. It kind of seemed like they had a plan of like you have this much in this segment of time, and then it got condensed to not so long, and like okay, well we've got to rush through some things, or it kind of seemed like it had that feel of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it
Or
felt.
vice or vice versa. Like this is supposed to be short, but we need to elongate it into a.
Well,
So
the match got just shy of 11 minutes.
right,
So it feels like either they thought they had more time and then had to get their shit in, or they. Let me rephrase that. They thought they were going to have more time, but didn't, so they had to get their shit in, or they got a little bit longer and didn't know how to structure the match with that extra time. But then
and
again, 11 minutes isn't that long.
well, you have to be specific. Like wrestling matches.
You had to
I
say
had to.
that.
Yep,
You
I
had to
did.
say that. Uh,
I noticed so far you haven't brought up any Elias segments, so
I, uh, I understand they were a highlight of the night for a lot of people. But what are we doing with Elias at this point in time? Where is his fit on the card? And this has nothing to do with his jokes about Cleveland. But it just felt like they planned a card and said, hey, Elias, go out there and vamp for a few seconds. Go play around. Is that to get him a paycheck? I don't understand.
you know what it really reminds me of is when they brought out the Bad News Barrett gimmick, and
Yes.
it was the same kind of deal. It's like, yeah, it was funny, it was entertaining, but did it really serve a purpose? It's kind of just there. It's not, at least at this moment, it's not leading anywhere that I can see. and I'd like them to give a little bit more clarity as to where the character's going.
True. And this might, and I've got scoops, coming
Do you?
everywhere. My yeah, yes, I have my
I'm the
sources.
ice cream man.
Oh, good lord!
Two scoops.
Shut up, Todd. Anyway,
Two
um,
scoops of raisins in every box.
Oh God! Now it's a Raisin Bran commercial.
National
Whoa.
Cereal Day was last week, and I did not realize how many of my friends have poor taste in cereal. Like I always give, like I understand, like we're all getting older, but good grief, I don't eat cereal anymore. So, but some of the things.
Yeah, there were some seriously bad cereal takes out there last week, and if you're one of those people who had a bad cereal take, you should feel bad.
Sign with the
I
Browns. You'll
I'm
be
gonna
the
jump
starting
in here.
quarterback.
I'm jumping in here and I'm defending Life Brand cereal. That stuff is good. I don't care what any of you say. If it's good enough for Mikey, it's good enough for me.
But Mikey would eat anything, so what does his opinion even matter? Like he would eat rocks if you gave him rocks.
No, Mikey. No, it's Mikey doesn't like anything. He eats them. He likes them. Hey, Mikey.
AA's got it. That's true. They were
That
all
that
impressed because Mikey liked the cereal, so that means it's good shit. So you can't be dissing Life Brand cereal. It's good stuff, man.
well,
Honey Nut
and
Cheerios is
all
better.
one fell swoop. AA just ruined my complete meme, but we'll talk about that at headquarters.
So
So
after Elias and all that, what was our next match?
a dog against something. A dog against something.
The dog sounds like it's winning.
I
I
don't
think
even know what he's barking at.
the next match was Samoa Joe defending his newly won United States Championship against Andrade with Zelina Vega, R-Truth with Carmella, and Rey Mysterio. And
So I have a question.
please ask.
They did this on
Whoa,
SmackDown,
whoa,
right?
whoa! Before you get
It's
started,
starting.
I have a
I
question.
have something to say.
Okay.
So they did this match on SmackDown, right?
Yes.
Why didn't they just do this here?
I don't want to be the guy who just made the joke I made in my head.
Say it.
I don't want to.
Say it.
They did it on SmackDown because Black History Month was already over.
Oh God.
I stole that joke, by the way.
Why
But
would you say such a thing?
because I'm a horrible person. Um, you're right, though. If they did it, if they could do it on SmackDown, why not wait the week to do it on the pay per view so it at least has a little more.
Pizzazz.
To it.
Yeah. And then it just dawned on me more people were probably watching the SmackDown than FastLane. So,
I don't like Thunderdome either, Todd. Now shut up.
uh,
It's Ted.
Turner.
so
Bob.
oh God,
For those that don't know, I'm sure you guys have listened enough that you do know. Um, the background noise that you hear would be Russ's brother playing a game, and every week, even off air, I give him shit. His name's not Todd. I just call him Todd because I think it's funny. Because
Well, typically the background noises is either Todd, um, Matt's chair, uh,
Matt's
Matt
dog.
playing video,
Matt's dog,
Matt,
Matt's
Matt's
video game,
yes,
and Mox whenever he has to step outside.
sir. That's not a noise I have to tell you guys about.
Okay.
Where
What
is
happened?
Shadow?
Inside the house. Anyway, so about this um you assholes. What match were we on?
The Fatal 4-Way United States title. I feel like this is where the show picked up.
I would say so as well.
There seemed like to be an elevation of attention. The fans were into it. Samoa Joe may have lost a step or two, but God, that's the step he still has is still pretty damn good.
I dare you. And I agree with you. And I'm doing a Catholic cross thing. I dare you to his face tell him, prove me wrong, you've lost a step. That MFer will still hurt the shit out of you.
I would never say it to his face because I like breathing. Breathing is fun.
Breathing is necessary.
Isn't there anyone out there? Because it's getting harder and harder to breathe.
Oh,
Mute his
good lord.
ass.
Ser- okay, I'm gonna have to. Are we sure he's straight edge? Straight edge?
I'm sure.
You didn't walk by a cloud of marijuana?
No.
Um, Andrade, awesome. Truth, props to Truth. That man is what, 40?
47.
And he's still out there?
He is
Still
47 years old.
And he looks like he hasn't aged a damn day?
Black don't crack.
I guess, yeah. It,
But not just to be that stereotypical. Like, it's not like he doesn't look like he's aged a day. Like, but dude can literally,
He can still go.
yeah, back into the TNA days and stuff. Like, when he was, you know, mid 20s, like, holy crap.
and I also think this match kind of sets up. We're getting Zelina versus Carmella at WrestleMania, are we?
And I am here for it.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Or, well, they're not going to do the mixed tag, do you think?
Mm, possibly. Shoot.
It's either the mixed tag or the one-on-one, right? I mean, that's what they're setting up for.
Oh, definitely. That's where the story's going. Is the Archer, Carmella, Andrade, Selena. Uh, actually, I could kind of see them doing a mixed tag. It'd be pre-show stuff, but
Yeah, I mean, it would be pre-show, but then again, this show's going to go on for 70,000 hours anyway. I mean,
the pre-show started like the minute FastLane ended. So
it. But to get to the match, I mean, it's a lot of fun spots. The hurricanranas off people's shoulders. The it was fun. Joe just being a wrecking ball. It's everything. These four obviously have chemistry together, so I like that they're still using it. But let's start to separate people going into Mania.
Yeah, that was the only drawback is the word repetitive the right word to
Yes.
use here?
Yes. At
Okay.
least it feels repetitive when it comes to Rey and Andrade. They don't need to be around each other anymore. I'm sorry. They put on good matches, but I've about had my fill. 5, what did you think of the Fatal 4-Way?
You know what, it was between it and I flip flop back and forth between it and the WWE title match as to which was my favorite of the night. Like these guys are amazing. Uh, like that corkscrew that Andrade did over the rope and landed on his feet somehow off of Joe was like I don't even know how a person moves that way and doesn't end up in the hospital. And then like you got Rey Mysterio in there, who before he had left WWE the last time looked like he was on his last legs. All of a sudden, popping into whatever fountain of youth voodoo magic that he's found, looking like he did 15 years ago. Like all four of
Remember
them.
the jokes like a year and a half, and I don't mean to interrupt you, and now you can, like a year and a half, 2 years ago, like Ray doesn't have knees anymore. When the initial talk of him coming back, you know, well they can bring Ray back, but can they bring his knees back? And did he not prove them wrong over the last couple months?
Oh,
Anyway,
Him
go
absolutely.
ahead.
and
Sorry.
Oh, like it's incredible watching the guy. Like you said, those jokes are going around. Everyone believed it, and then you see him out there. And he's pretty much putting on match of the night every time he goes out. So I love the match. I agree with yeah, they need to start splitting people off. And Ray and Andrade could probably use a little breather apart from each other. But for in ring action, it was a barn burner.
apparently Rey Mysterio and Kobe Bryant have the same knee doctor.
Well, the guy knows what he's doing for sure.
I'm saying that half as a joke because I remember when you guys remember when Kobe went overseas, had that knee surgery, and came back, and all of a sudden
Oh,
he
yeah.
could he could play again. That's what this feels like. He went away, he's come back, and it's like he he's stolen somebody's knees. It's remarkable. Let it never be forgotten that Rey Mysterio was legitimately probably one of the top 10 greatest wrestlers ever. Period. I don't care about time, weight class, or company. Dude's been legit
If
for ever.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, because there seems to become all of a sudden this huge influctuation of these for I'm just going to quote some terms like smaller, tiny, too little. Like, do you not remember Rey Mysterio being a multi-time world heavyweight champion? And I bring that up like referring to Aleister Black, to Ricochet, and they're a lot bigger than Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. I mean, Ray's been doing it for the small guy forever, but he's always been probably the smallest guy in the room. It's really remarkable, and it's because I find it so remarkable because his game is so much different than other smaller guys like Malenko or Daniel Bryan or um, even even different than Eddie because Eddie was probably one of the best in ring mat wrestlers, every bit as good as he was as a junior. Ray's had to do it pretty much being a flippy guy. And to do it for so long and legitimately be Rey Mysterio to this generation is what
Excuse
Dynamite
me.
Kid was to his. And I'll go to my grave believing that.
I can see the comparison.
Because Dynamite was probably the best small guy of his time, doing it in a different way. And I know I don't have to tell Five this because Five got to see it live up close and in person.
And you know what? I'll wholeheartedly back that opinion. Ray is reinventing the wheel out there sometimes in the same way that Dynamite did. Uh, so it's an apt comparison. They're both two of the best cruiserweights that have ever walked the earth.
Yeah, and see, I'll take that a step further. They're two of because in my opinion, like if we want everybody all of a sudden is doing the whole Mount Rushmore thing again for different reasons. Great, what you would classify as cruiserweights. They held their own in any division, like cruiserweights, heavyweights, big guys, small guys.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
they and
I
stood
just
the test of time.
I could turn this into a Rey Mysterio love fest for another half hour, but I won't because the match that came after this
I was
featuring
waiting. I didn't want to be
featuring
the one.
Morris's favorite wrestlers, uh, Nia Jackson Tamina, the worst of all time, and the worster of all time,
Whoats, Whoats,
against the
Woad
champs,
and Woater.
uh, the Boston Hug Connection. Um, did they use a tag team championship match to set up the return of the Divas of Doom?
I think they did. Much like Batista, a return that literally nobody asked for.
Batista asked
Sir,
for it.
sir, sir,
Sir.
sir. Don't don't ever compare Nia and Tamina and anybody wanting to see them to Batista returning and having his final match. Sir,
Sir.
sir.
All I'm going to say about this match is this. If this was only for the return of Beth and Natty, fine. Fine. But let's please get Nia and Tamina away from anything
Wrestling?
having to do with professional wrestling.
Yeah, this match was god awful.
But
I
I. Go ahead, Five.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you guys. The match wasn't anything to write home about. Uh, I don't want to see Nia Tamina anywhere on my TV screens ever. As for the Divas of Doom, that one I don't mind seeing them come back. I think I'd like to see Beth in there with some of the talents that are out there in the ring with working today as compared to what she had to deal with at the time where she was big. She was arguably probably the best wrestler of her era. So to see her, for at least in WWE system,
Yeah.
uh, like we're not going to go anywhere else, but to see her actually get in there and tangle with some actual skilled opponents for a change, I for one wouldn't mind seeing that.
Unfortunately, it looks like it's, and we're gonna get something else at WrestleMania. But unfortunately, how this played out was we're gonna get Divas of Doom versus Nia and Tamina.
Oh God.
I
You
sighed
bring
before I said it. I sighed before I said it.
and I DM'd you, Max, um, right after I saw the GIF. Why is Nia Jax no selling Beth Phoenix
And
because
she
she's
straight
not a
did.
Jax.
offense?
Yeah. Yeah, she.
She no sold those punches. I mean,
Mm.
uh, she she's not dumb. I refuse to think this woman is dumb. She's of this business. We all know the family she hails from. And she might be the worst wrestler of the bunch. From a family who doesn't produce bad workers.
She went like round Twitter, like, but during something actually on screen, like, um, like when let's go back to Hulk Hogan in the '80s, early night. You can't hurt me.
I mean, for God's sake, Manu is better than Naya.
Oh wow.
Uh, I mean, is point to where he's wrong. Because
Hit
Manu would have at least recognized that he needed to sell for the returning legend, for the Hall of Famer.
his sad burger is better than
And I'm going to cut Tamina some slack. I honestly am. Her knees are shot. Her and her hips must be a wreck because her knees are shot. She can walk away.
and that makes it, in my opinion, even worse. Like the one that should have walked away years ago. Your knees are gone. Your hips are gone. You're physically barely
It hurts to
able to
watch
walk to
her
the
walk.
ring. Yeah. Like fast forward to current day Kurt Angle. Rewind that to like and to be the better of the two. There's three words with a question mark at the end. What the fuck?
It's just not good. It's just not good. But I don't want to spend any more time on this because I don't want to. Uh,
Well, for those that might listen to us just for results, Bailey and Sasha retain.
yes. And by the way, Samoa Joe retained in the last match too. Uh, okay. In case we glossed over that, Samoa Joe retained the title. Boston Hug retained their titles. And that leads us into one of my favorite matches of the night, just because of how it unfolded. It became a triple threat match per Vince came out and he started to tease the crowd a little bit. And I honestly thought it was going to be Johnny Gargano because it's Cleveland. And if there was ever going to be a guy who could get the fans over for at least one night, not having Kofi in that spot, it may have been the hometown guy.
I thought Gargano was going to be one of the ones in one of the Elias segments to shut Elias up, but
Yeah, that would probably been another good use, if a little underwhelming. But Vince introduces Mustafa Ali. And the crowd doesn't like it. The crowd has a visceral reaction. And it became clear in that moment that this is all about Kofi. This has nothing to do with any of the other people involved. This is all about Kofi. And that's a big statement. Because it means the fans are invested and involved.
To Ali's credit, he went from getting pretty much booed when his music hit to the crowd for many, many minutes. We want Kofi, 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 Kofi to, oh, okay. Like they're putting on a hell of a match, and a lot of it has to do with Ali. Like,
Ali's one of those guys who isn't afraid of a bump. And that bump on the outside,
Oh,
I thought he died. I thought he was going to end up in somebody's lap.
that
He's
was crazy.
he's gifted, man. But KO's no slouch, and neither, of course, Daniel Bryan is, amazing. And my God, heel Daniel Bryan this run.
Sir, please put some respect on the name. The
The new
new
Daniel
Daniel
Bryan.
Bryan.
This heel run he's having, so good. It's so good. But I like how his in ring is at the same caliber as the character work. He's figured out how to wrestle with this, whatever this his brain situation is, and he's just so good. But putting him in there with guys like KO and Ali make him better just by having that talent to work with. I was pleasantly surprised we got no Luke Harper interference. So that's a good thing to me.
And can we give credit to KO for coming off double knee surgery 4 months ago and doing what he did? Like, oh,
Oh, they have shields. Oh, there's another team above you. It's coming
shut
above
up,
you.
Todd.
I know, right?
But that
Um,
this was a stellar match. Very, like, Five alluded to. Like, this was match of the night, in
go
my
ahead,
opinion.
show it some love there, Five.
yeah, you guys have nailed it. Like, it was incredible. Like, I mean, the talent of these three individuals, uh, you're not ever going to have a bad match. But like, it was to bring the crowd from what they started at with the chanted Kofi, the Boo and Ali, to bring them right around to being in the corner of this match was a testament to all three of these guys. And yeah, like you said, Adam, Mustafa Ali, the bumps that man takes, like, I don't know if you guys watch 205 Live at all. I've watched quite a bit over the last year, and some of the things that guy does in the ring, every match you think the guy's killed himself. Like that bump to the outside onto the barrier was just insane. And I loved the finish with that midair flying knee. Oh, that looked so brutal, and he sold it so perfectly. And KO looked amazing too. So I was just, I can't gush enough about this match. If you haven't seen it, this and the Fatal Four Way are the two matches that you need to go back and watch for this pay per view. You're not going to be disappointed with either of them.
It, I don't know what you do with KO after tonight or after FastLane and even tonight. There's, but he needs to factor in at Mania. Doing what, I don't know. Ali too. This is one of the better showcases of talent the WWE have right now, and that's always sometimes these talent showcases in a match like this only makes the company look better at a time when they seem to be want to do everything that makes them look worse.
We're not talking about trying to have a women's battle royal in Saudi Arabia, are we?
No, I'm referring to them hating fun and removing the watch along video.
Oh, yeah, that's another.
This fucking company, I swear.
But the and
At least
I
we got
wouldn't
one
even.
great gift from it.
Two, if you think about it.
Yeah, we already know the first one he's talking about.
We do.
But hell, repeat this match at WrestleMania. It's going to be fire again.
I mean, we can't repeat this exact match because Kofi
No,
Mania.
well, how does?
Hell, give me Ali and KO together. I'd pay to see that. Like that would be a barn burner of a match.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where they're so good, I don't care what the packaging's in. Just give me the packaging. Just give me the present. I want it. Okay, guys. We've come to that match.
Oh, do I finally get to say the words? Do I finally? Oh, let me stretch out because this is gonna. And
What
this
are
might
you
be one
doing?
time where do I get to say it?
Mox, the floor is yours.
Nope. That's you're close. Matt, the next
Matt,
match is Charlotte versus Becky. Becky wins. It's a triple threat at Mania. Charlotte wins. It's a one-on-one at Mania against
Trash Panda.
blah blah. No, blah Rousey.
Trash
Um,
Panda.
M- Matt, you had the floor.
Okay, first off, I know a lot of people did not like this match. I didn't think it was that bad. It's not one of their better matches, but I didn't think it was that bad. Now, the finish was awful, but the match itself really wasn't that bad. So, the finish of the match comes when Ronda Rousey punches Becky Lynch, gives her the DQ win. Okay, I get that they didn't want Charlotte to lose again to Becky, but this is the best they could do. And honestly, this match was
Bullshit.
a waste of time. This match was a waste of time because Becky already earned her spot. So there was no reason for this match to take place.
This is the point where I want to just say this company has managed to ruin the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
There
Sir.
was there was nothing more sacred than winning the Rumble and getting that main event at Mania. And they have subsequently over the years fucked with it and fucked with it and fucked with it until now it means nothing. If it could be won and lost willy nilly, it's no better than a Money in the Bank briefcase. Couple that with whatever this build has been. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
I know I take the crazy pill.
I, I'm. Hey, beat me to it. I'm literally taking crazy pills and nope.
Becky came out with that godforsaken crutch, not
Why?
knowing not knowing what knee to sell. Still, I'm And they have an 8 minute. Why are they giving this 8 minutes? Nearly 9. Did we need to?
Yes.
Shut up. And
Was
then,
this match necessary at all?
nope.
No.
Thank
And
you.
then here comes Trash Panda. Just in all black. For some reason, I understand why she books it to the ring. It's because Becky's in the figure 4. I get that. But she looks ridiculous. And then comes in and just does some Ox Baker heart punch. Shout out to all those who understood that reference. And then rolls out of the ring. And the ref calls for a disqualification, and Becky's in the match.
They
What?
couldn't even let Becky win on her own.
Well, to be fair, Becky was about to lose.
Oh no. No, 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 no. She was going to win one way or the other.
I think it was going to be the other.
And she did. She won the other way.
See,
I,
and Ronnie,
I,
Ronnie played right into Becky. Becky played her like a fiddle.
I think Becky doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
and,
Charlotte
and
doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
uh, uh,
Ronda hasn't apparently know what the fuck's going on since she got her ass knocked out by Holly Holm.
shouldn't she still be in like concussion protocol? Like,
5, what the hell is happening here?
Uh, I honestly, I don't even know. Uh, I am in the camp of I thoroughly hated this match. I'm a fan of both Charlotte and Becky. The women can go. We both seen them have epic, wonderful matches. This was a pile of flaming garbage. Like it didn't need to happen. The outcome was like a blind man in a pitch black cave could see that coming a mile away. Why it was as long as it did, I have no idea. And I don't know how they could have possibly taken what was pretty well the hottest story that they had going and absolutely derailed it the way they have. Like it is brutal and mind boggling. And I mean, I will give them credit for finally putting Ronda Rousey to the alignment that she should have been at the start. I don't know who of you guys watch UFC, but if you watched UFC during Ronda Rousey's reign, Ronda Rousey was always a absolute heel. She was a complete and utter bitch. Yeah, she was the baddest woman on the planet for a time, and she had her fans, but you can't tell me that a whole ton of people, myself included, didn't tune in hoping to see her get her head knocked in like Holly Holmes did. So to finally see her at least healing it up in the alignment that she should be, I'll give them credit for finally getting that right. But that should have happened a long time ago, not just recently here. I just don't even know what the hell's going on in this story anymore.
And just as an aside, because I'm gonna probably beat it after the and head to bed after the main event that we talk about, but I did want to talk about this and one other thing.
well, sir, when you beat it, that's on your own
Sir,
time. You don't have to
sir,
announce it.
sir. I did
Beat
that with
it,
I did
beat it.
that I did that when they announced the Beckham trade. Um what was that promo on Raw by Ronda?
It wasn't good, but it was still probably the best promo she's cut in WWE.
If
Like,
Roddy Piper were
it's like
still
changing
alive,
when Morris, who was, like say Morris is 1 year old or 1 year old, and I'm changing his diaper. Like, well, at least this shit doesn't smell so shitty. Like, it's still shit, but like I'm not gonna puke because it smells like diarrhea. Like, at least it was like a turd
get
sandwich is a turd sandwich to go all the way back to the beginning of the
right,
podcast.
right. If Roddy Piper were still alive and he heard what she said on Monday, he'd smack the shit out of her. Because you don't talk about the business the way she's been talking about the business. Kayfabe or not. That it it doesn't. This is the perfect example of when the WWE thinks they're getting real heat to help a character, but they're getting go away heat.
Yeah,
This
real
is
heat,
go
wrong
away.
heat. Yeah.
This is go away heat. But
Before like somebody jumps in, like in comments or anybody listening, or because I'm gonna post this on Twitter later. Like, oh, see, she worked. Like, no, there's a difference. Like, how I know, like, heel heat and like, oh, I don't like this person because, oh, she's a heel. No, there's a difference, and the difference is, um, making me invested because I don't like you because of what you've said, what you've done. So I wanted to see your ass get beat. Versus, like, I don't care if you're on my TV. I'll probably turn the channel or go find a snack or something and not pay attention to what you're saying or doing. Big difference.
yeah, this all this with Ronda just irks me on so many different levels. But let's get to which was probably by right the right choice to be the main event of the night. Uh,
And oh, one of the first times I've been able to say this in a while. The show reunion match against Team Blah. Hey, hey, you have the floor.
I have the floor, huh? I love this match. It brought my boys back together.
I guess we're nobodies.
What do you mean?
We're no Dean, Seth, and Roman.
it that was like a Shield's greatest hits. I honestly don't care about the quality of the match, even though it was a good match. I mean, better than it probably should have been. But that's because those guys went in there and treated it like if this is the last time, we're going to leave you with our very best
And wanting more.
and wanting more.
And so many callbacks. So many callbacks.
Yes.
It's real. You want to talk about real and kayfabe? What the Shield have collectively as 3 human beings is very real, and you can tell that because they those guys can't hide their emotions when they're around each other. Their hearts are on their sleeves.
Yeah. Big time. Especially Ambrose.
Oh God, Ambrose is just a mess.
I
He's
mean,
just a mess.
he tries to hide it behind that exterior of his, but his is the biggest heart. on his sleeve when it comes to Seth and Roman.
And
The
that's what you bring up a good point because when the Raw were Roman and that's the leukemia thing, and um, Seth is bawling, on top of and Dean keeping his composure isn't what I'm trying to say, but you can visibly tell like tears are one thing, and this is not a knock against any of the three. Um, just looking at somebody and being able to see that they're distraught or like it doesn't take tears to be real if that makes sense. Like I don't have to cry.
Dean that night looked like he wanted to fight cancer personally.
Yes,
He it was bottled up. I mean, you can tell what he's really doing is when you go back and look at it, because he never looks at Roman really when they do the hand pose. I think he's overlooking at Renee trying to keep his composure.
sir. Did you just call the fist bump the hand post,
The hand pose, the fist bump. I'm being flippant. I'm
sir?
sorry,
Sir.
but
Okay, I get you got Odell Beckham Jr. on your team, but like,
my
sir,
mind is not where it needs to be. But I think he was looking towards Renee to kind of keep him because he was like a fit of rage. I mean, you could just tell that he was almost vibrating. So to have this moment in the main event, it just the high spots, Roman doing the drive by, the all of it. It was a thank you card signed by the Shield to the fans.
Yes.
And if that is the last time, I wish it would add a bigger pay per view. But if that's the last time, I can't ask any more of them as a
no.
unit because that was perfect.
But are you human?
Scientists haven't given me the test results.
But
The
yeah, bad jokes aside.
five. What did you think of the Shield reunion?
I'm going to echo pretty much what everyone else has said. It may not have technically been the most perfect or best match, but it was exactly what it needed to be. It's like seeing your favorite band reunite for one last tour. Uh, if it is for God forbid the last time we see the Shield together, then it was we're going out on a high note. We got to see everything we love about them, yeah, and what more can you ask for? It was a great way to end the show. And I agree with you. It's too bad it wasn't on a bigger pay per view that more people would have tuned into or seen. But I loved it, and that's all I can really say about it.
And Corbin got what he deserved.
And Corbin got what he deserved.
Okay, and I know a couple of our friends have been listening, waiting for my scoops. That nobody believes me that I have scoops. Um, no, we're not getting Drew versus Roman 1-on-1 at WrestleMania. We're getting Roman and Dean versus Baron at Corbin, versus Baron and Corbin at WrestleMania. It's going to be a
Versus
tag team
Baron and
match.
Corbin.
Er, Ma'am, ma'am, don't mind me. We're Baron Corbin and what's his face?
Are you trying to say Drew McIntyre?
I don't word good, but that's going to be the match at Mania, and that's why. And we can't get to it tonight since Adam's about to leave. But why the flying? Everybody, like, cover your ears if you don't like cuss words. Why the flying fuck Finn Balor lost IC title back last night because that threesome is no longer there. Lashley's back 1-on-1, single competitor. They broke that off without even making it obvious. The WrestleMania matches will be a tag team of Dean and Roman. We're gonna get Ambrains again versus
Blah.
Corbin and McIntyre. And then the IC title match will probably be, I can't give too specific because then my sources will call me out on it. The IC title, since Lashley has it now, with the multi-man match with Finn being involved, and that's why all that happened. And it was so subtle, but it was there. Lashley wins the IC title back, so he's now a
Why, I'll
single.
never know.
Neither do I. It's
You said threesome. Ugh. Ugh.
but that's what we're getting, and
Time
I
out.
know
Time out. Are you doing both Beavis and Butthead?
he
Yeah.
does that. Yeah,
Oh God, you've had way too much sugar.
but that's what we're getting at Mania. It's a tag team.
It's getting mad on too
Uh,
much sugar.
Yeah.
Initially, my sources told me that it was going to be Dean versus Roman. Now my sources are saying it's going to be Roman and Dean versus Drew and Baron
Yeah.
in a tag team match. For multiple reasons I'll get into another time since Adam is way past.
Yeah, but I do
Um,
want to. Let's give our letter. Matt, what did you think of the Shield reunion?
I thought it was pretty good. Like the match, it was what it was. As Stone Cold would always say, they probably didn't go in with a fishbone of an idea, but the match was what it was. The Shield came out, played their greatest hits. They had a hellacious run. They ran up and down the roads doing their thing, and props to them. Maybe the crowd a little bit hotter for the Shield than they were for Corbin Lashley and whoever Drew McIntyre. But yeah, I mean it was a solid match for what it was, and it was a good reunion. Like everyone said, it was pretty much a Shield greatest hits, and made very kind of do this match. The last time the Shield actually like team up. If it is, if they lost, whether they will, then this was a pretty good match to go out on.
I just want everyone to realize he pretty much word for word did a Stone Cold recap on his podcast. That's what that was, and it was perfect. What is everyone's letter grade for Fastlane?
I D. It was just kind of a mediocre show all around. But if you have like a few hours to kill, you're not going to have a horrible time.
What did you think of it, Five?
I'm gonna give it uh, probably a C plus. The high spots were good, but the rest of it didn't elevate it past a C plus.
Allie?
The Shield made it a B.
I think I could have saw that coming.
Mm-mm.
Uh, Mox, letter grade?
a letter grade. Let's see. My opinion. Damn it. Since you gotta go, I can't joke around too long. A B minus, C plus. Like it was a passing grade. It wasn't like this had no right being as good as it was, but
Yeah.
um, it's funny how some of the things I've seen on social media of Like FastLane sucks so bad. Like I get trying, your events and storylines and stuff, but what was the point? Like motherfucker, you literally just answered your question. They were advancing stories. Anyway, what's your grade, Rice?
I'm gonna give it about the same everyone did, a C plus B minus. Better than I thought it was gonna be, but honestly, it still feels like it was appropriate. It's pretty much what I expected from a Fastlane pay per view, maybe just a little bit better. Uh, but I
And real
really
quick,
can't.
since you gotta go, real quick, does there need to be two pay-per-views between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania?
No,
And
fuck
everybody
no, make
weigh
it
in.
stop. No,
Okay,
fuck no, make it stop. But
5.
No, no, I don't think there needs to be any pay per views between Royal Rumble and
I
WrestleMania.
I can see one. Allie,
No.
Matt.
Just one. I would just have it be Fastlane, and then like just eliminate Elimination Chamber. Just have Fastlane, because I like the theme for Fastlane. I like the idea of a Fastlane theme song. That Fastlane pay per view. Like you're on the Fastlane on the road to
This is
WrestleMania.
a
It's WrestleMania, baby.
sir.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
Um,
Trying to
but
do
I
I
did.
will call,
Jerry Lawler impression.
sir. Put the sugar down.
I did want to touch on two things from Raw.
Well, sir.
I shut up. Well, it was first thing being the newest members of the Hall of Fame. Harlem freaking Heat, man. That is cool.
Yes, absolutely, and deservedly.
But the question is, will Big T be involved with them?
No.
No,
Will Clarence Mason be inducted
No.
with them?
sir. Seriously,
Clarence
you know what?
Mason, Carson, I forgot the words.
Outside.
When I think of
Clarence Mason, he's the
WCW,
boss, crossing T's and dotted I's.
Outside.
oh God, are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
When I think WCW, when I think tag teams, the first team that honestly jumps to my mind is Harlem Heat. Because I don't have the association with WCW with Crockett that a lot of people did. I didn't grow up with that.
I was about to say like Steiner Brothers kind of coming to mind.
Steiners are up there, but for me, it's Harlem Heat. They were the Attitude Era tag team. Um, they were they just had a different vibe to them.
And since this is will be Booker's um second quote unquote Hall of Fame, can we give a shout out to Stevie Ray?
Oh yeah,
Like,
Stevie Ray to me is what kept Harlem Heat grounded in that reality because he was just a big tough guy.
and
Booker
that scar, dude, that scar. Every time he was on TV, that scar, like, oh shit, that had to hurt.
and the scar he embodied what the team was supposed to be about. Booker was always the better one of promos. He was clearly the better wrestler. He was the guy who had the potential. But Stevie Ray was the guy who made Harlem Heat have the gravitas and the credibility to be the team they were.
Is it kind of a reverse? And I'm asking five, Matt, AA, all. Is this kind of a reverse? Harlem Heat Steiners.
Uh, Yeah, I could kind of see that. I get where you're going with that. Yeah, I would agree.
Flesh out your thought a little bit there, Mox.
Well, Rick wasn't the the flashy guy. He wasn't the he just handled his shit in the ring, and we're Scott, and we're for those that don't know, we're not talking like Big Papa Pump and shit later that Steiner's like his own meme. But back
Right.
in the day, um, Scott was the This is where I know word comes into play.
Scott was
Uh,
Scott was the potential guy.
But I think where Mox
we're
is trying to go is that Scott was the grounded one of the bunch. You had Rick kind of off barking like a dog and being the wild man, where Scott was the grounded guy that kind of pulled Rick's antics back.
Yes.
yeah. If I put it better than and the entire time he was saying that, I'm trying to think of my words to say. But yeah, basically that's
I mean yeah, they were it was a case where with the Steiners, the guy who kept the team grounded ended up being the guy who really had the long run. And in the
true.
case of Harlem Heat, it was the flamboyant guy who had all the potential, and Stevie Ray kept the team grounded. So the Steiner and Stevie played Scott Steiner and Stevie Ray played similar roles for their tag teams. It just they both ended up on different trajectories based on their talent.
And
Which
their
isn't a bad.
opponent from Dunkin' Donuts, hailing from the great state of obesity, Team 3D.
Oh, good lord.
Just I worry about you.
Like
Uh,
I hate
seriously, like
ducks.
uh, and the other thing I wanted to touch on before I left, as you guys can probably figure out, last night in his hometown, Kurt Angle announced that his final match, um, his retirement match, is going to happen at WrestleMania.
let's pick who before you leave. Who?
To me, it has to be Cena.
I could see it being Cena as well.
Cena.
I agree, Cena.
Allie.
Cena.
And I just kind of wanted to have a quick little. I'm not going to go on a tirade. I just want to have a quick little retrospective. Although I say that all the time, and I never am able to shut the hell up. Um, Shut up, Mox. Uh, Kurt Angle is never. I know he's already been put in the Hall of Fame, but he's never going to get the credit for being as good as he was because of the era he was in. He had to find a way to compete with Steve
Cheap plug.
Austin.
Cheap plug. The era he was in happens to be a podcast that Matt host. What would that be called again?
The Ruthless Aggression Era podcast.
You're not Matt. I was
I
trying
know,
to.
but I'm doing it anyway. Because I could do. I don't have time for your plugs, sir. Um,
Sir.
well, remember, Angle came in there at the tail end of the Attitude Era, and he had to figure out a way to compete, literally out of the gate, against guys like Austin and Rock and Taker and Jericho, who did Jericho beat Angle to the Fed, or did Angle beat Jericho?
Well, do you guys remember Angle first went to ECW?
For like a cup of coffee, and then
Literally, they and then they did the
they ran the
cross
Raven.
thing. Yeah.
They did the Raven Sandman. No, it was
Yes.
Raven. Was it
Yeah, it
Raven
was Raven
Sandman?
Sandman.
It was the
Yeah,
Raven
because Raven
Sandman
crucified the
crucified
Sandman.
him, and
Yes.
Angle went to Paul and said, "I can't do this."
Yep. And left.
But did Jericho beat Angle to the Fed, or did Angle beat Jericho?
Jericho was first, wasn't he?
I believe that Jericho was first, but not by
Yes.
much.
So he also had to come in and let's have. I mean, I know there was a short time there, but coming in and having to compete against a guy like Jericho, who was full of charisma and was out there having insane matches and had years on Angle in the business. Kurt had to find his niche, and he had to find it quick. And he did it because he was a probably one of the best wrestlers this business has ever had, just this
I,
side of Bockwinkel and Danny Hodge.
I was gonna say if there's a person that deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, like more than once, without like other factions or tag teams, or put Kurt Angle in there for multiple, or for multiple times, for multiple. He was so, yeah. It was a pretty short-lived run, but damn it, the characters he played in those runs, they each deserve to be.
Tiny cowboy hat Angle,
Yes,
uh, um, uh, Stephanie McMahon's illicit lover Angle. Uh, not saying
Milk
that was
truck,
good. I'm just saying that was interesting.
milk truck angle.
Milk truck Angle. The ruthless aggression Angle when he started wearing the mouthpiece and they traded into ECW for some god unknown reason. It,
Rada must have been like 3 years old or something. This isn't working for me. This is all fake. I need to see something real. Sorry, had to get that in there.
I know. I will never. I mean, let's not forget he. It wasn't just that he was a great in-ring worker. The guy is legitimately funny,
Yes,
and he was probably the best comedic timing guy they had for doing some of the stuff. That run he had with Austin when they were doing the comedy bits is some of the best stuff they did.
we
I
wouldn't
think.
have the sketches they're doing today without the angle sketches they were doing 20 years ago.
And I want to point out they made those comedy sketches fit with main event talent.
Yes,
Those weren't two mid card guys doing something for a laugh. It was
no,
Austin and Angle. That spoke to their talent as having that ability to do the comedy, but it
right.
spoke to it
That
helped get
that
comedy over in the sense that they don't even understand now. They can't do comedy now.
and not even a comedy thing. Yet, yeah. Oh, most of it was hilarious as crap. But you anymore you get great in ring talent, and I'm gonna use the phrase because it gets brought up so much. No charisma. Kurt Angle blurred that line where I'm a great in ring talent and I can be funny as shit and make you laugh. Um, the
He
closest I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'll give my ats later. Our truth is very close to he's good to great in the ring, and outside of that, the segments they give him, like he nails that too.
I'm gonna one up you there
Of course,
because
because you just got.
I know.
What's that receiver you just got?
Odell Beckham Jr. and yes, I'm happy. Um, Daniel Bryan, and I'm going to say that because he's legitimately one of the best in-ring workers of this generation, of
Excuse me.
maybe of any generation. And his Team Hell No run alone is damn near Hall of Fame worthy for being as funny as it was.
But sir, you have to look at it at who was he playing off there? One of the greatest people to do it, and that was Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane.
Kane. I mean, let's be honest. Angle wasn't working with the slouch and with Austin, or he played off Stephanie well. He played off Hunter well. To me, he was the first. Jericho did comedy stuff too. They all did.
Well,
Austin was funny. Rock was funny. They all had funny moments. But I think Angle found his niche being the straight man funny guy. And
and that's a
the
very hard role to pull off because you have your straight man, and usually you play off of the funny man. And very seldom do you see somebody that can literally do both.
yeah, he was okay. I have to ask the panel favorite Angle match. Doesn't have to be WWE, but favorite Angle match.
Oh,
Too many to
While
choose
you're thinking
from.
about it, like while everybody's thinking about it, make sure you go to bluechew.com and
Taker's not doing his podcast yet, sir.
sorry.
It's a hard question, I know.
I can't answer it.
Uh,
There's too many.
so Blue Chew already worked for Adam, so
Sure, I've been there since they announced the trade. Full attention.
I'm gonna have to go with Angle and HBK. Whatever,
Oh,
whatever WrestleMania that was. Like
WrestleMania 21.
21. Thank you. That match was phenomenal.
For me, I'm going to have to go with Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit for the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble 2003.
that was so good. Oh, that was so good. I'm gonna pick an odd one, but I'm picking it because I remember the build for it. But it was on SmackDown. It was SmackDown. It was Angle versus The Undertaker. And they had the build being the best pure striker versus the best wrestler. And it felt like a main event fight. And to me, that's half the battle. If you can make it feel like it's a big deal, you've got me. And
we're also sponsored by G.I. Joe, Mattel.
no, we're
And now
not.
you know, and no one's half the battle.
Oh dear God. Uh, yeah, it has to be that Taker versus Angle. And there's a couple choices in there, but Taker versus Angle. Mox.
Um, there's so many, like because when you bring up not you specifically here, but like goats, like greatest of all time, not to be confused with coin the term um, woats that we're currently trying to trademark. There's so many. like Kurt Angle's had a. I might have to go with, and hear me out here for reasons. For reasons, not the match itself, but for what it meant to wrestling going forward. And I can't reiterate enough. Hear me out. John Cena's debut.
That I think that is perfectly valid because that was the best piece of business Angle ever did, and that dude won titles. But I think he made Cena that night.
And that's my point. And by making Cena that night, he made WWE for 10 plus. Well, we're still talking about Cena and the year of our Lord 2019
Yeah,
as far as like WrestleMania and opponents, and that's also ties back into Kurt Angle's or John Cena's first opponent was Kurt Angle. Go full circle. Come on, WWE. Go full circle and give us John Cena versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 35.
in Kurt Angle's last match.
Right. John
Very
Cena's
rarely,
verse.
it is rare when you can get those full circle moments in wrestling. I don't see how they pass it up.
And not to be a buzzkill, but and not to be callous here, but
He's a bigger
you kill
buzzkill than
two birds.
buzzkill.
Oh, good grief! You
Oh,
you kill two birds with one stone, as far as John Cena having a match and Kurt Angle having a match. Put them
yeah,
in a match together. Kind of like to a degree, Batista and Triple H being in a match together. Like, or at least they're not bearing new talent. Or I can't like give those two a match of this is where it started, this is where it ends.
yeah. And I don't
Does
want to
that
sit here and
make
say,
sense?
yeah, no, you made perfect sense. And I'm just sitting here thinking the matches we passed on, the Angle versus Brock series. The dear God, those two.
Oh, oh shit! What was what year was it that Eddie and Kurt what
Oh, that
paper
was
that pay per view? Shit!
oh, that hurts. I don't remember.
Shit! Shit! Matt, you've been. It was ruthless aggression.
With
Kurt versus Eddie.
Wait, what was
uh
it?
Kurt versus Eddie.
Well, they had two matches, major matches together. One was at WrestleMania 20. The other was at SummerSlam 2004.
Yes, and you and Five will be talking about SummerSlam 2004. It
Hopefully
was
tomorrow. I'm
was
gonna
that
try
the
for
the
tomorrow.
Summer. Go ahead.
is that the lumberjack match?
No, it's the one with Eddie's boot playing into
That
the
was
end of the.
WrestleMania 20.
Or is that the 2 out of 3 falls? Because they had the 2 out of 3 falls match in early September on SmackDown. Oh God, Eddie and I need to go back and watch that because Eddie and Kurt in 2 out of 3 falls sounds amazing. I have shit I need to go watch. But I just wanted to say we passed over great matches. Eddie and Kurt, Eddie and I mean Kurt and
Can,
Brock, Kurt and The
can
Rock.
can we agree that if you bring up the name Eddie Guerrero and the name Kurt Angle, yeah, there's been some mediocre to kind of bad matches. But for the most part, excuse me, I'm so sorry. For the most part, they've been, and not just, I'm so sorry, against each other, but independent. Damn it, independently, they've been like we're literally talking about two of the best that ever have done it.
Yeah, I'm just. I could go on and on because I could talk about the Kurt and Eddie and all that, the history of this business forever and ever. But I'm going to skip my plugs tonight because I do have to run off to bed, and you guys have a show
At
to continue to do.
at
Uh,
PW fan 001 on Twitter. Find them at clevelandsucks.com.
you'll never find me there, you unmitigated son of a bitch.
Thank you, Adam. Love you as
You
always.
too.
Take
Thanks,
care.
thanks again for having me, you guys. Even though I'm pretty much a regular now, but I'm always thanks for having me. Five, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for being here, Adam. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Oh, by the way, breaking news: Le'Veon Bell is signing with the Jets for 4 years, $52.5 million.
How much guaranteed?
Don't know yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
And the
So,
Jets will still be fourth in the NFC East, but or AFC East, but that's neither here nor there.
there. Have a good night, everybody.
Love you, dude.
Adam.
Real quick, because AA and I can stay up for however long. Matt, five, you guys got to go, or
Yeah, I should
Not at
probably
the
get out of
moment.
here pretty quick.
one of you said yeah, and okay.
Sorry,
Um,
yeah, I'll have to duck out here pretty quick. So
No.
no, yeah, I'm sorry.
sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, I'll throw out my plugs and then I'll duck off here. So you guys can catch me at Cage Side Seats under the Saskatchewan Spin and Nerve Hold. Usually there during the week, mostly the daily, but on other threads as well. Or hit me up on Twitter at GW Klein 75. And thank you all for having me on.
It's been
Thanks for
great.
being on.
Gonna have you on again.
We'll definitely look forward to that day.
I guess
So let it
we'll
be written. So let it be done.
yeah,
Good
let's
night,
go
guys.
ahead and wrap up here. We didn't get much, and for those still listening, we were AA and I talked like we're gonna do. I know Matt and Five, who was just a guest host, will be doing Ruthless Aggression tomorrow. But we'll have our independent show, like our indie scene show tomorrow, probably at the same time. So we'll get more into that. Um, but yeah, it's and Matt. What game are you playing? Devil May Cry 3?
Yes.
Of
I'm
course.
almost done with it, actually. Just a few more levels left. And then I can move on to 4. So I just got 4 yesterday.
Ah. So I guess we'll go ahead and this has turned out to be just basically kind of sometimes like we do just friends chit chatting and
Going off the rails.
there aren't it's hard to go off the rails when there are no rails. But yeah, but tomorrow, again, I'm going to reiterate since I literally just said it. Um, at least join myself and AA. I'm pretty sure Adam will show up. Matt has to do Matt things, but we can wait for him maybe, and for independent wrestling coverage and what's going on. And promise you guys, there's still some big interviews coming. Joel from BYW, which is Bayou Independent Wrestling, all that kind of stuff. Like there's WrestleMania season kind of like makes everything weird as far as trying not trying to get guests on because they're willing to be on. It's just I'll be honest, like clicks. We need clicks. So but we'll be back tomorrow. Um AA 8 my time, 7 your time.
Right.
Okay. So that's 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, 6. I'm not
Pacific.
going through all the damn time zones. But we're gonna do another podcast tomorrow and do a little more WWE
And
stuff, but
RMP.
mainly the independent stuff that we haven't touched on tonight because go ahead and say it. I will lead you into it, Anaya,
He's gone heel. And I
and
love him
he's
heel. Mm, heel. Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun,
da
da-dun,
da.
da-dun, da-dun, da-dun.
You went
Da-da-da-da.
full hell a long time ago with giving me the Pink Panther theme. But thank you, Five. Thank you, Rice, of course. I mean, you're getting paid, so I don't know why I'm thanking you. But I guess we'll do this again tomorrow and get into back to our roots of doing independent wrestling, and I'm hopefully having on one of the two. I have some guests that want to come on for when we talk independent wrestling. Anyway, um, Matt, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Melmat15. I was hanging out on K-Side Seats, hanging out in the daily and the nightly. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to do Ruthless Aggression Era podcast with Five. It's been a long time coming. Going to be doing it on SummerSlam 2004. So finally, at last, that episode should be out tomorrow.
Really? Really?
You're
Really?
finally really. Maybe this is finally the end of the reign of terror. Oh wait, where can they find you, AA?
You can find me on the bird thingy at Lady Rashana, or you can find me lurking around the daily at Ambrose Alley, or you can find me at Twitch at Violent Wrestling Podcast No G. And Cassie the Wonder Dog just took my place. He just
Nice.
hogged the bed.
And a couple of VWP things coming up in the next week or so. Um, Morris, you've heard on the podcast a couple of times, turns 10 Sunday, so I can no longer say, a 9-year old's opinion. I'm going to have to use double digits, so that happens. Hopefully, we're going to get a kids takeover next week. Um, don't find me at all. And then I guess that's that. And because I just completely lost my train of thought, and that happened. So we're
Where can
live,
they find
pal.
you?
Please don't. Fireman6809 on Twitter.
Prince Mockley Lopez at the Daily and the Nightly.
Oh, dang it. You just have to go. You just went all Leo Rush on me, going rogue and giving all the information out. But no, seriously, we're gonna get back to. I know the last few weeks we're doing more on Tuesdays WWE, and a lot of it's my fault of not being, for whatever reason, one or the other, doing our independent stuff, which is what we were known for. But we're gonna get back to that one way or another. So we're gonna be covering Recommend Pro, um, women in wrestling stuff that's going on. We'll be doing that tomorrow. Um, been trying to get our Twitch set back up. That's a whole different story that shouldn't be aired live, but we're here. And so you can find us on Twitch and YouTube and all that stuff. So, with all that said, I've said too much and I've probably spoke out of balance, but with that said, have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Night.